Welcome to Ghost Python Academy. Today we're going to learn how for loops work in Python by walking through examples and what they print. A for loop lets you repeat a block of code a certain number of times or once for each item in a sequence like a list or a string. This helps you avoid writing the same code again and again. Let's start with a simple example using the range function. In this example, the loop runs 5 times, printing numbers from 0 up to 4. Range 5 means it starts at 0 and goes up to, but doesn't include, 5. Next, you can use a for loop to go through items in a list. Let's say we have a list of fruits, apple, banana, and cherry. When the loop runs, it goes through each item in that list one by one. On the first run, it takes apple and prints it. Then banana gets printed on the next line, and finally cherry. So the output you'll see in the terminal is apple, banana, and cherry, each on a new line. You can also use a for loop to go through a string, since strings are sequences of characters. Take the word hello as an example. The loop grabs one letter at a time. So in the terminal, you'll see the letters H, E, L, L, O, each printed on its own line. Now let's look at another feature of the range function. It can take 3 values, start, stop, and step. So if you write range from 1 to 10, with a step of 2, the loop starts at 1 and adds 2 each time. It goes 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, but it stops before reaching 10. This gives you more control over how the numbers change in each loop iteration. Oh, you can also put a loop inside another loop. These are called nested loops. For example, let's say the outer loop runs 3 times, and the inner one runs twice for each outer loop. That means for each value of the outer loop, the inner loop will run twice. So you'll see pairs like I equals 0 and j equals 0, then I equals 0 and j equals 1. Next it moves to I equals 1, and repeats j equals 0 and j equals 1, and so on. This is useful when working with grids or combinations. Now, a quick note on syntax. Python requires indentation to know what code belongs inside the loop. If you forget to indent the print line or write it at the same level as the for, Python will throw an indentation error. You can also combine a for loop with an if condition to do more specific tasks, like filtering values. Let's say you have a list of numbers from 1 to 6, and your goal is to calculate the sum of only the even ones. First, you create a variable called total and set it to 0. Then, start the loop. For each number in the list, you check if it's even using the modulus operator. If the number divided by 2 has a remainder of 0, that means it's even. If it passes that check, you add it to the total. So in this example, the numbers 2, 4, and 6 will be added. The 1s, 3s, and 5s are skipped. After the loop finishes running, you print the total, which is 12. This kind of pattern is very common in Python, filtering data inside a loop based on some condition. Let's take a closer look at how break and continue work inside a for loop in Python. Imagine you're looping through numbers from 1 to 5. Now, when the loop reaches the number 3, the continue statement tells it to skip that step and move on to the next one, so 3 doesn't get printed at all. Then, when the loop reaches 5, the break statement kicks in and immediately stops the loop. Nothing after that point runs. So in the end, the loop only prints the numbers 1, 2, and 4. These tools are incredibly useful for controlling the flow of your loops. They let you handle specific cases, avoid unnecessary steps, or exit early when a condition is met. Thanks for tuning in to Ghost Python Academy. Hope this helped, and I'll see you in the next one.